50 good day. As you know, we, along with our friend WTOL 11 meteorologist Ryan Weekman, are huge supporters of the inclusive playgrounds that are going up all over Northwest Ohio.
Yeah, and part of the inclusivity is acceptance. It's knowledge. It's understanding. Don Bentley joins us this morning with a way to help us all understand differences in others. Just get your crayons.
Get your crayons.
Or your
markers.
pencils, your markers.
Or your colored pencils.
Whatever.
Any of those will work.
So we're talking about a coloring book.
We are. Yes. So I started an LLC about a year and a half ago called C.A.I.R.E. It stands for Community Access, Inclusion, Representation, and Equity. And I grew up with an older brother who had cerebral palsy. So being a disability advocate has been something I've known my entire life. And I work with local organizations to who basically have a vested interest in becoming more inclusive and accessible. And the library actually asked me to do family workshops for them last year in October. I was really excited, but I was trying to think of a creative way to engage children while also, doing something that was interesting for the parents, the caregivers as well. And, the old practice and model used to be having people simulate disabilities, so blindfolding someone or placing them in a wheelchair. And really what research has shown is that it doesn't work as it was expected to create empathy. It really creates more of a perspective of pity and victimization. And so we've really tried to steer away from that practice. So that's when the coloring book was born. I worked with Toledo Community Photography, and we actually took pictures of local individuals with disabilities, basically acting out disability etiquette rules. What do you do when you meet someone with a disability who might have a limb loss or who is blind and uses a white cane? How do you introduce yourself? And so that's really what the coloring book walks us through.
I love that, because I think there are many times we want to make sure that we're not saying anything that's going to be hurtful or anything like that, but then we also don't know what the right thing to say is. So you have a page by page kind of description of different things, and we can color it in too.
Yes. Yes. So it's engaging for children, and then my hope is that their adult, the person that they live with, takes something away from it as well. And you're exactly right. I think a lot of it is the unknown. People get nervous. They're just not sure what to do. I asked some parents before I did the workshops, what is one thing that you would want families to walk away from this knowing? And I had one mom say to me, it's the worst feeling when I'm at the grocery store and another child similar in age to my child with a disability points at them and asks a question, and their adult shoos them away and tries to, we don't talk about that, versus answering the questions and educating the child. And she said the more that we answer those questions and we talk about it, the more we're going to normalize people with disabilities being in the community and being part of the community. And so that's really what the hope is of the coloring book.
Right, that knowledge, that understanding. And you also, we were showing some of the images, but there's of course the portion as far as the coloring in, but there's also descriptions and there's wording. So it's something that we can do as a family, right?
Yes. So at the top is what we call like the etiquette rule. I don't love the word etiquette. It sounds really formal and probably adds more, pressure to people, but really just educating people on what to do when meeting people or interacting with people with certain types of disabilities. And then at the bottom is an image description, and it's written in an accessible font. So if someone's using a screen reader or like a reading pen, then they'll be able to access the text as well. And then we bolded some of the images as well. That way it made them a little more accessible to people.
Wow. And you mentioned kids because they are inquisitive and they ask questions. But that's one great thing about kids is that they're open and they want to learn, don't they?
Absolutely. And that's, I think, if us adults would just get out of the way oftentimes. It happens so organically with children. It's those kids that ask questions in the grocery store and us being okay with answering those questions or allowing, the person that they're asking about to answer the questions. And one of the things that we talk about in the book is if someone doesn't want to answer, that's okay too. But it's okay to allow people to ask. That's how we're going to learn, and kids are really good at asking questions.
They are.
Sometimes a few too many, but
I get a lot every day in my house in particular. So where can people get this coloring book yet, or is it out there?
Absolutely, yes. So I worked with HOT Graphics to print copies available for purchase. I'm currently working on creating a website with a link to order, but right now if people want to order, they can contact me at Bentley, Bentley, CARE, C.A.I.R.E @gmail.com.
Okay.
And do you have any of the workshops going currently or any in the upcoming future?
I do have some in the upcoming future. I'm actually going to be working with Toledo Lucas County Public Library again to do probably my most popular training that I do for organizations is called Disability Download, where I walk through the current best practices of employing people with disabilities, educating children with disabilities, looking at universal design and how can we be more inclusive and accessible in everything that we do.
So the library will have that on their list of things.
They will,
Get
yes.
signed up for it. Dawn, thank you so much for being here
Thank you.
today. We appreciate it. Everybody loves a good coloring.
Right, and being open on the conversation. Thank you.